it's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it!
Fabulous solo goal by pierre-emerick.
Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the Arsenal Lounge. I'm Lavanja, and we all know who my man is on the left, Hagn. How you doing, brother? I'm back, man. I'm back.
Very good.
Yeah,
I'm very good. You?
Boy, life, innit? But I'm here, and I'm excited. I mean, just to let everyone know in the chats, Edu is on his way. He's running about 5-6 minutes late, so we thought we'd start without him because you guys have been sort of patiently waiting. So look, I mean, I was meant to be on yesterday's show as well, Hagn. So I'd like to catch up a little bit with you on that first and see what come out of that that stood out for you. But very quickly, big up to Gunnar Vettel, Pap, Josh Hunter, Ads, all you guys, Roshan, Kristen, love it, man. The support's been amazing. So Hagn, look, as I said, I missed yesterday's show. I mean, what stood out for you from yesterday while we're waiting for Edu?
It was a good show. Obviously, Fabrizio was very informative as usual. I don't think this Maddison business is gonna happen.
Really?
After the show, I saw David Ornstein and another guy as well. I don't know. I can't remember who the other person was. Also, they came out. And they said that because they don't really see they don't see it happening. Listen, it will mean Arsenal spending the amount of money that we haven't spent before. So we're spending 50 million on Ben White. I don't think Maddison will leave for anything less than 50. I don't think Leicester will do a deal and for anything less than maybe 60. So that's 110. We spent on Lokonga as well. And we need to keep on spending. That's not the end of it. The outgoings are not significant figures as of yet. I think the biggest one is 20 million euros, which is xhaka. So I think for financial reasons, probably it won't get done. Maybe Aouar will be financially more suited to Arsenal. So that was one of the things that I took from yesterday. Another thing was that because of this no European football, it seems that we're everybody's second choice. Like Locatelli, he wants to go to Juventus. If that doesn't happen, then he'll be like, okay, well, maybe Arsenal. Whereas if we had European football, maybe that would be a different story. Apart from that, everything is as it is. Late. It's going to be a late dash, I think, towards end of the transfer window, because he said
always
everybody's now holding fire because Euros is just finished. Everyone's still negotiating. There is still time, so people are a bit wary, and it's going to be one of those ones that last minute everyone's going to be doing deals. I mean, my United signed Sancho that was announced today, so. Yeah, that was pretty much it was said yesterday, and then we discussed things with Lee and Mo about Arsenal being typical Arsenal, not getting the deals done early and so on. So that pretty much was it yesterday.
Okay, I mean, I'm looking at some of the comments in here, and right, I mean, someone's asking about Edu again. He'll be on shortly. He's running a bit late. Some people on here are rightly saying Ornstein did get Pepe wrong. He said that weren't going to happen. He did also get Partey wrong, apparently. There is a lot of mutterings about Maddison. So I'm not entirely convinced that that's, we meant to have a £250 million war chest. So I don't know. The mutterings seem to be that, everyone's saying he's really keen on coming to us. So I don't know. It's a tough one. But yeah, the thing is waiting again. It's leaving it to last minute. And someone was saying, I think, there's only 20 days left before the season starts, and we still got a number of positions, including right back, and we're looking for this Hwasimoa or type player. Emil Smith-Rowe's been given the 10. So does that mean Maddison isn't coming? There's all sorts of permutations. So do you know what I mean? It's
look, listen. The thing with David Ornstein and these guys, they do get things wrong. They're not going to get everything right. And people need to understand that. It doesn't mean that every time they come out with something, it will happen. That's how it works, with these journalists. They will get things wrong. Fabrizio has got things wrong. David Ornstein has got things wrong. Charles Watts, he's got things wrong. It happens. So if somebody's got one thing wrong, it doesn't mean that this guy it's not credible anymore. And plus, Fabrizio pointed it out yesterday as well. If you inquire about a player, right? So Arsenal might have asked Leicester, what's the carrying with Maddison? That's one thing, right? Arsenal going in with a bid, right? That's a different thing. So, we might have inquired about Tammy Abraham. That's one thing, yeah? But we haven't gone in for the bid.
That's a strange one for me.
And then when you inquire about a player, then obviously people around there, they hear, Arsenal in for Maddison. And then next thing you know, somebody put out there, Arsenal interested in signing Maddison, this and that. And it just becomes a headline. Whereas Arsenal just asked, is he available? What's the carrying? Maybe they've just asked somebody around Maddison that, what's his thoughts on coming to Arsenal? That sort of stuff. So, because listen, how many players Arsenal been linked from the beginning of the transfer till now? Quite a lot.
Yeah, I hear that.
We
never
still
get anything
don't
done
have a right back.
Yeah.
We still don't have a backup keeper. We're short on midfield, right? All of these areas need to be addressed. And if you go and spend 50 million on Ben White, and then you go spend another 60 million on Maddison, that's 110. You already spent how much? I think 17 on Lokonga.
Yeah.
So that's 120, right? I don't think Arsenal have got 250 million pounds to spend. So,
do you think what they're doing, right, is they're trying to change tact and go for all these younger players so they've got a ceiling sell-on fees, right? So there's for some reason somewhere I read that Lokonga, the reason they've bought him is he's highly professional. He's got a real potential. Everyone's been talking about him. Thierry Henry knows about him, obviously, from insider information, coaching at Belgium. And the thoughts behind it is within the next year or two, he'll be worth 50, 60 million, right?
Well, yeah, so, I think we're forced to do that.
Yeah, at the moment, because you're not getting anything coming in via trophies and
not
like
even that. Because if you go for any established player, I don't know, Renato Sanchez, for example, he had the good Euros. I'm just using him as an example, right? So we're gonna go in for him. Liverpool will go in for him. A few other clubs will go in for him. Then it's going to be we have to offer something ridiculous for him to say no to Liverpool and a couple of other Champions League football clubs and come to Arsenal. So I think they've done that correctly, in my view, where instead of wasting time on some established players, where they'll probably at the end of the day, with one club coming into the race, their head would get turned because they've got Champions League, they've got this, they've got that. They've gone for players who actually want to come to Arsenal and then make something out of them for themselves, like Lokonga, like Ben White, like probably a Wassim or Maddison. I'm not sure if he falls in that category, but I think this is what they're going on about it, and they're forced to do that because, listen, established, reputable, quality player, right now we ain't got a lot to offer to that player.
So listen, you're right. There's shopping at the moment where it's going to be people that have potential, highly regarded, but not quite ready yet. And this is what we seem to be doing. Now, there's a couple of things you mentioned as well. This Tammy Abraham rumor. Now, I personally think it's a bit of a strange one, but there's people on here that don't think it's a strange one. For me, like, I know that maybe they're looking at it and they're thinking there's a striker there that's got a little bit of height, presence, physicality, causes a few problems running in behind. But then I worry about his injury record for a start. It could end up being a bit of a Welbeck situation. So I'm not entirely convinced. And Danny Ings, for example, wouldn't you go for Danny Ings over for Tammy Abrahams right now? Or is it just that they're looking for that type of forward because we don't have
it? Fabrizio said this yesterday as well. Arsenal might have asked about what's his situation. That's it. It could have many different reasons. See what
Chelsea trying to offload him and maybe use him.
So, but listen, we all need to understand that next year, Lacazette and Nketiah will walk away for free. So that's 40 million pound striker, 40 million pounds, right? That will walk out of the door for nothing. So that's 40 million pounds. If you add his wages on top of that, right? So he would just gone, nothing, right? And then you got Nketiah, who's also, he may have some value now, but next year will probably walk away for free as well. I'm not saying he's a quality player. I'm not his fan, but maybe they're looking at that as well. That maybe they're thinking, should we get rid of Lacazette or Nketiah and then bring him in, or bring another striker in? Because now that would you rather take 10 million pounds for Lacazette now, or lose him for free next season? And that's all of these things. It is big decisions that they need to make, because
the problem we have as well, though, is, like you rightly said earlier, what type of striker is going to come to us right now without Champions League or European football? It could Arsenal be looking at that and saying, well, we're just going to have to bite the bullet. You're not going to get, if Lacazette was on the market right now and he wasn't with us, would he be looking to come to us with no European? Exactly. So then you got to say, you could even say, well, we might be quite fortunate that they're here, so you might as well keep them because we're not going to get any others. I mean, look, we still got Aubameyang. He's a world-class striker. You know, he had a bad season last season, but there are areas more pressing for me at the moment than the striker area. I mean, I know we didn't score as many goals last season. That might have cost us because of Aubameyang, but right back is a problem. Everyone's saying on here that Maddison prefers to play as an 8, and that could be why ESR was given the 10. So that would be quite interesting if he wants to play that deeper role. But then if we get in Huasimoa, then what happens with that? There's a lot of different things. I'm just not understanding what we're doing right now 100%. I'd like to, but I'm just not. When Ben White, I mean, some people have said this, yeah, Shaheen, and I'd like to hear your thoughts. Some people have said this. I think it was Turkish. He was saying 4th choice England centre back Ben White. And he listed some others, and they were all sort of a little bit further down the pecking order. But then, aren't we gonna have to do that, like you rightly said? And then, couldn't Ben White next season or in the next couple of seasons be the next big thing?
It could be. In my view, I think we're overpaying for Ben White a little bit. There's always a premium with White.
Well, when you look at Varane's going for 45 mil, isn't he, to Man United?
Yeah, but there's always a premium with young English players because of this whole homegrown business that they've got. But if you told me at the close of last season that we're going to have Ben White, 50 million pounds, I would have been like, oh, well, Brighton, they haven't really done anything special this season. I don't even know how the guy has played, because I haven't really seen how he plays. If he's good enough, or I don't think he's worth 50 million. But he could come in a couple of seasons. He could be worth 60, 70 million pounds. It's a bit hard to get from 50 to 60, 70, because you need to be top quality to be a 60 or 70 million pound centre back. Right.
Well, go on.
My only thing is that with 50 million pounds, we could have got a lot of quality centre backs from Europe.
Someone else rightly said here as well. For example, if you buy Tammy Abraham, what happens to Balogun? So you just that don't make sense either. So you're right. You're better off focusing on these other areas than centre back. And 50 million, it does sound a bit much for Ben White.
Yeah, it's a lot, and he needs to improve quite a lot. And the guy has already got a price tag on him when he comes in, because he's expected to start to come in and start contribute straight away. He's played in the Premier League. He knows Arsenal. He knows the English way of playing football, if you like. So he's expected to come in and perform. And one thing that I'm surprised about Arsenal so far is that I would have thought, with all the protests and the way we finished the season, I would have thought they will get their business done early. They'll make sure we've got a good team in place, good preseason, so then they can hit the ground running. Because I'll tell you something, right? First five games, if Mikel Arteta is not doing well, right, then this whole transfer business and the summer transfer window, all of that, it will become a little bit irrelevant. they're going to be under a lot of pressure. Look, we lost to Hibs, right?
Yeah, I didn't read too much into that.
No. That's not the point. I'm saying we lost to Hibs, right? And Arteta out was trending on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
So I know that maybe there's a lot of other fans from other clubs that are, contributing to that. But if Mikel Arteta loses his first 4 or 5 games, then a lot of people are going to question, well, why couldn't you buy a proper centre back for £50 million? Why couldn't you do this and that? And you know what? I would have got rid of Mikel Arteta at the beginning of last season, right? And then if Arsenal did that, then Antonio Conte was available. He still is available. Maybe they could have convinced him to join.
Yeah, but obviously they've gone this route where they think it's the long-term game plan, etc. I mean, look, there's some people on here saying, "Oh, don't cry about Ben, Ben White and all this sort of stuff. 50 million for fuck's sake and all this shit." We're not crying about it. If he turns out to be a great signing, all the better for him. We want him to do well. We want him to be the next best centre back for us. But then there's other areas like your right back. We don't have a clue what's going on with that yet. There's no real solid names coming in. You've got I've heard the mentions of Max Aarons and 1 or 2 others. But my concern again, as we mentioned before, is going into a season 20 days before the season starts without a full strength team. If we don't get these guys in soon, then what happens? Then you're going to be starting with the right back as Cedric and all that sort of stuff.
Well, yeah.
Because
that's how it is right now. At this moment that we're doing this show, right? We don't have a backup keeper, right? We don't have a right back. Hector Bellerin wants to leave, right? We don't have a proper centre mid. Granit Xhaka is leaving. Lee Judges said something yesterday, which is quite interesting. He said, right now, we're weaker than last season. And he's right. He's right. So,
wait. Who's gone out? Who have we lost so far?
David Luiz is gone.
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka is gone.
Yeah.
Bellerin is looking to leave. Matt Ryan is gone. He was obviously a backup keeper.
Okay.
So far, was that?
Maybe he's got a point. I don't know, but then I like Neves. Tavares. Yeah, I like Tavares. I saw him play against us for Benfica. I like him. Nuno Tavares is a good addition. I think he's a genuinely good player. So I'm happy about.
But he's not.
The midfield might be weaker.
Right here we've got people in the chat writing Ceballos, Odegaard.
Yep.
But
there
listen,
you go. Yeah,
that Tavares guy, right? He's a backup left back.
Yeah,
he's not really going to change anything.
He's only young though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's not. At the beginning, one of the problems that needed to be solved was a backup left back, not the main issues. The main issues was centre mid, centre back, getting rid of Deadwood, and none of that so far has been addressed. But there's still time. There
is still time. Well, look, all you guys in the chat asking about Edu, he is minutes away. He's just shown me that he's just logged into his computer. So he was running a bit late. So do not worry. He'll be here any second now. Going back to what Lee Judge was saying with the weakened midfield, etc. You're right. I mean, Odegaard and Ceballos, but let's be honest, Ceballos was never going to be, he was never going to sort of change things too much for us. I'm not too gutted about him. And to be honest, I'm not too gutted about Odegaard right now because we didn't really see anything from it. And then you've got the likes of Torreira we still need to get rid of too. El Neni, do we really want to keep El Neni? Let's be honest, like what is going on there? There's a few things here, but let's see if our man can maybe shed some light on things for us. Edu, there you are, bro. What's happening, man? Walking around chilly, minding your own business, relaxing, and I've said to you, mate, hey, get on this podcast. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I came running home. I wasn't at home, and I thought it was a 6, so then I saw it was a 3, and I'm here. So I try to do my best.
Mate, well, it's a pleasure to have you. And we were just discussing yesterday's show with Fabrizio. I didn't unfortunately make it, so I was catching up with it and all that. But now that you're here, we know that you're the man who's always got your finger on the pulse and everything. We've heard the usual names. Ornstein saying Maddison won't happen. It's unlikely. Then, we were discussing that we've heard nothing about the right back situation. Then you've got the Ramsdale thing as well, which we haven't mentioned yet. And then there's a rumor about Tammy Abrahams. But the thing is, What's going on? Let's start with the midfield situation. What's going on with the midfield? Because it was rightly said by Hagn that Lee yesterday said, look, right now we're weaker than we were last season because we're losing Odegaard, we're losing Ceballos, Granit Xhaka's going. Let's start with the midfield. What are we doing with that situation?
Well, first of all, we have to let Granit Xhaka go. I mean, it seems like we reached an agreement yesterday, so that's inevitable. But we have to sign somebody to start the season with Partey because Lokonga he's not ready, of course, and I don't want to see Elneny starting again. So there has to be some type of give or break situation here, and that we have to sign somebody before the league starts in 20 days. So it's not gonna be easy. But Locatelli is looking difficult, very difficult. I think it's impossible by now.
Why are we wasting so much time with that, Edu?
That's my take. Look, if you don't have any assurance that he wants to join you, I mean, just move on.
He made it clear he wants to stay. He wants to go to Juve, right?
Exactly. And Juventus are trying to put a package together, so we can't waste time. That's the reality of things, and it's a situation where we have to move. There's no other thing. We've wasted like a month and a half already now waiting for somebody that's not going to come. So we have to be smart, we have to be critical, and we have to be proactive. And
so what are the backups then? I mean, why are we not hearing more about the likes of Basuma and people like that?
Exactly. I don't know why, but sometimes it's good to have silence. But in this situation, we had silence for the whole window. So that's not positive. So look, Basuma, I know Neves as well, they're targets, but I don't know how high they're on the list. I suppose there's somebody after Locatelli that's not Basuma and Neves, so we will have to wait and see who that is. I mean, we don't have time to wait, but we have to see who that is, imminently. So, and in terms of Maddison, who's also a midfield player, I mean, I don't agree with David. I mean, David says he's unlikely, but he doesn't say it's impossible, because from what I've been told, discussions have already begun between Arsenal and Leicester. So we're gonna see if that reaches some point that we can reach an agreement and the player comes to Arsenal.
Well, I was hearing there was the discussions of Ainsley Maitland-Niles going the other way, right? As part of to sweeten the deal.
Yes, that's a report from Tom Colomos and Adrian Kayumba, who are great journalists. So I would take that with a pinch of trustiness, if I could say it that way.
No, wasn't it AFC Bell that dropped the Maddison story first?
Exactly. Yeah, the AFC Bell is amazing, man. And some people like to have digs at them, but they're an incredible team.
Okay, so what about this right back situation? You heard anything going on with that? Because that's been the quietest. And do you know what? We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. We always start slow. We don't start with a full strength 11. And I can already see us starting with the likes of Cedric at right back. Do you know what I mean? And things like that. And I wouldn't even be surprised if we start Tavares at left back because, they're resting Kieran Tierney and all that sort of. It's just weird. So what is going on with this fullback situation? I've heard nothing about the right back.
Yeah, it's a very complicated situation because even myself, I find it very difficult to understand how is that not a priority. I've been told that we will look for one if certain things happen, which is Bellerin, AMN leaving, but that for me that's reactive business, and I don't think we can afford that right now. So the situation's that we have to sell and then we're gonna have to buy. But the window, the time passes by. The window doesn't stop for you and time flies by. Maybe your targets are going to be bought by somebody else and then you're going to be left in nothing. So it's a very worrying situation in that specific spot.
Hagn, I mean, you're hearing what Edu's saying, right? What your thoughts on that? And also, do you have any particular right backs yourself that you would look at and say, oh, I'd like him at my club?
It's always, listen, Arsenal have always conducted themselves in the same manner that they're doing now. It's last minute. They're hoping for this Maddison. If he was to get done, I wouldn't be surprised that it will be a last minute thing, because then Leicester will be like, oh, we don't really want to keep a player that wants to go. If he wants to come to Arsenal, let's just do a deal, get rid of him, that sort of thing. But I'm puzzled about the way Arsenal are conducting themselves. I would have thought they would get a couple of really good players in. I'm not talking about world-class expensive players. No, good players who come in and start making a contribution. I would have thought an obvious one would have been Basuma.
Yeah.
He was telling the world that he wanted to come to Arsenal. But it seems like when a player does that, we'll be like, no, we don't really want you. But we'll go and wait for a guy who doesn't want to come here.
Yeah.
So I'm just puzzled. In terms of the right back situation, no, I don't really have a right back in mind. I would say, yeah, him, let's go get him, because I don't know what these guys, what they will do. And right now at this minute, I don't have one in my mind. Probably they will go get a player that we haven't heard of.
See, I personally, I've always been impressed with Max Aarons. I've seen him play, you know, in the Premier League and obviously in the Championship, and he's always played well. I think he's a good profile for us. I think he's young. He's got ceiling as well, so we could sell on if he becomes even better. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's all about, again, this Bellerin situation. Why haven't we sorted that out? We must have known at the end of last season that he wanted to go. Why haven't we already sorted that out? Why hasn't he already gone? Why haven't we already not got someone coming in? It is a little bit frustrating. It's the same old slow, like Edu said, we're looking like we need to sell first to get in again.
Yeah, it's a bit hard, Lev, because we've got a lot of players, right, who are, I would say, average, right, and have very high salaries, right? So it's hard for clubs to do business. For example, Bellerin, right? Bellerin is a maybe an average or just a little bit above average right back, right? He's on a very high salary. So who's going to be in this day and age with all this Corona and COVID-19 and this and that? And
his injury record.
Yeah, not a lot of people will be thinking, yeah, let's get him in. Kolasinac, £100,000 a week. Who's going to pay Kolasinac £100,000 a week? No one, right? Granit Xhaka had a decent season last year and decent Euros. Probably that's why we're getting 20 million for him, right? Who else? If you look at El Neni, how much you think? Who's going to? Probably a Turkish club or a Russian club or something, and they're not going to cough up a lot of money.
But someone rightly is saying in here as well, and we like to try and keep it level, yeah, because I don't want it to be all negative. Because, like, as people were rightly saying in here, a lot of the stuff that gets done with Arsenal, we don't even hear about until it gets done, right? Edu, you can agree with that. The problem I have here is the midfield's going. We don't seem to have anything. Locatelli, for example, we knew from the get-go. It's like asking a woman to marry you that doesn't want to marry you, and you're hoping she's going to say yes, while you've got a few others that would jump at it. So what are we doing there? We're leaving too much to do in a short space of time, is my concern. But what people are on here saying, rightly so, is if you look around the transfers at the moment, it's not like anyone's really smashing up the transfers and bringing loads of people in. Not even the likes of City and Chelsea at the moment. So Edu,
I don't agree with that. You know,
I don't agree with that either.
Because listen, everyone is for themselves, right? It doesn't mean because nobody's pulling moves, we shouldn't be pulling moves either. And plus, none of these clubs, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, none of them have fucked up the way we have.
Yeah, true. None of them have fallen down the way we have.
Exactly. None of them finished eighth with a rookie manager on the tight board.
I would like to mention as well that our squad is like weaker than last year, man. We were eighth and we lost our creator, which is Odegaard, and we're gonna lose one of our best midfielders in Xhaka, and we're left with what? El Neni and Willian to replace Odegaard because Martinelli and Saka are not going to be there for the first few games.
Yeah.
So
and plus we've got the African Cup of Nations coming up this year as well in January. So I think we, out of all the top clubs, if you like, in the Premier League, we have the most to do. We've got a lot of players that we need to get rid of, and we need to sign a lot of good players. So this idea that but look around, nobody has done, a lot of it. Well, listen, there's not a lot that Chelsea need to do. Maybe one or two quality players. Man City, maybe they'll add, I don't know, Grealish or Harry Kane. Man United even decent,
and they're already ahead of us already.
Liverpool.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Look, we are looking to create a good starting 11. These other teams right there are buying superstars to complement what they already have, which is great. United came second, and they added Sancho and are going to add Varane. City ended up champions, and they're going to add probably Kane and Grealish. Then you have Chelsea, who are waiting to see if they can afford Haaland. Then you have Liverpool, who have always been like self-sustainable like us, but like they have they have great recruitment and they sell perfectly, so they can actually move in that project. Then you have Spurs, who are going to receive a massive amount of money for Kane, and they're going to reinvest a lot. They're signing Christian Romero, who's probably one of the best center backs in Europe right now. So,
but you see, Edu, Liverpool. You see, it's a good point that you raised, because Liverpool have sold 2 players that I have never heard of, right?
Exactly.
For about what, £30 million combination?
Exactly.
Is it 30 or 25 million pounds, right?
It's like 15 million pounds for somebody who's never touched the pitch for them, and then we have to sell our main midfielder for the same amount. How
there
does that
we go. You
explain
see,
itself?
so that's the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool in this case. We've never been good, right? Under Kroenke's, right? We have never been good at selling players. Listen, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's over 150 million pounds, right? The amount of players that we have bought and they walked away for free. And you're gonna add Lacazette to it if we don't sell him. That's another 40 million.
Exactly.
Right?
See,
so listen, nowhere in the world, in any business, this is acceptable. But it's cool here. And if you say it, you're negative. If you say it, you've got, you're this, you're that. No.
There's people in here saying it now. We're negative.
People always like to find excuses for incompetence, but we cannot accept that, man. We are Arsenal. We are not Leeds, with all due respect. We are not Everton, who have become accustomed to being mid-table. Our ambition should be top 4 at least. Yet we're struggling to see even reaching top 6 this season under the current squad.
Well, Edu, you've got to ask yourself what we're doing sort of forward-thinking wise as well, because I remember watching over the last couple of seasons, watching the likes of Phillips at Leeds and going, oh, do you know what? I'd snap him up. If I can see it, they could have snapped him up for 20, 30 million a season or 2 back. Now that he's had these Euros, now he's gone up to sort of probably triple. So these are the things. But then there's other teams that are doing it, like Leicester, and someone rightly said in here, look, Leicester signed what? Sumar and Daka, right?
Yes,
don't tell me these guys wouldn't have improved our squad. Don't tell me that. So teams are doing it, and we should be built more ruthless. If someone on here is saying the transfer window isn't that busy, and this is why I mentioned it, which it can be, you couldn't say correct. Maybe in compared to other seasons, it's not that busy because of the COVID and pandemic and all that, and people don't have as much money available. But surely, if you're gonna try and get yourself back to where you should be, if those guys are taking their time, you should be going in and snapping up people without messing around, right?
Absolutely, and I absolutely agree 1,000%. You know why? Because we have to add the context to the situation. We are right now in a war with our owners. We are in a war because this was the last season was the worst season in the last 25 years. So it's not as easy as to say, oh, the others haven't bought anything, so we're chilling. You can't do that. We have to try to get back and close the gap. Not that the gap gets bigger and bigger like it's happened every year. Like before, top 4 was a given. Oh, why? We're getting top 4 yet again. How is that ambitious? And now even top 4 is looking unrealistic to some people. And man, we are Arsenal. We are a big club. Come on. It's
we need to make a statement sign.
It's not.
We need a statement sign.
It's not negativity, man. Arsenal losing, Arsenal doing badly does nothing for me except gives me headache. It puts me in a bad mood, and it pisses me off. So I'd rather my team winning, so I'm happy. I'd rather Arsenal do business, so I'm excited and I'm looking forward to next season, because right now I'm not, right? And I want positivity around my club, right? And who's supposed to bring positivity around this club? The owner, the recruitment team, the manager, and the players, right? And they've all failed so far.
Exactly.
Well, I don't understand this.
I don't understand this. Oh, you guys chill, relax. Oh, do this, chill, relax.
Because we haven't waited long enough.
Because all of these years.
Exactly.
It's when you come out with things like that, it's more or less like we've accepted how it is right now.
Yeah, listen,
we've accepted that Arsenal is a mid-table team. We've accepted that we're going to fuck up the transfer window. So let's just chill, man. It's all right. They will probably get one big name by end of the transfer window, and everyone's going to be like, oh, look, we've got this player in. Arteta is going to fuck up his first 5-6 games. It's going to be a toxic atmosphere in the stadium. They'll have to pull the trigger on him. It's going to be a difficult position for Edu and Unai. Vinai. And then there's going to be who wants to come to Arsenal now with average players. But then you're going to have a problem with someone like Conte. He's going to be like, I don't fancy this now.
No, listen, this guy here, yeah, he said a few things, and I'm just going to out it. I don't care. Mishane. Moan wants the windows shut, he's put on it. And he said a few things. Mishane, right? Why are we going to moan once the window's shut? What can we do once the window's shut then? Like, that's a ridiculous statement, mate. And I was always one, and you guys can vouch for me, especially you, Shaheen, you've known me for time. I was Mr. Positivity on this. I used to always say, no, we're going to do well. I always believed it. But the only fans that would be positive about an 8th finish, right, and the way we played last season, is a team that's just been newly promoted and had a far better season than they should have had. What is positive about 8th? Nothing. Right? And what is positive about our previous transfer windows that have given you any encouragement to believe that this season is going to be any different? If you've been cheated on every time by somebody, what makes you think that this season you're not going to be cheated on by that person, for example? Right? I mean, you know, you lose faith.
I'm using examples, you know.
I'm using examples, and I'm using examples, right?
But listen, there is nothing that I want more, right, than Arsenal to prove me wrong. And if they smash the transfer window, I will come on here and I will apologize to them. And if I bump into Edu in Waitrose across, I will personally go up to him and tell him, listen, man, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I doubted you, but I'll shake your hand. You smashed it, man. Well done. This is what I want.
Exactly.
Right? But do I think it's going to happen? No.
I share the same sentiment. Look, before I used to be Mr. Positivity. Everybody on Twitter had a go at me sometimes because they said, oh, how can you be so blindly confident that they're going to get it right? And then with time, I analyzed myself and they were right. I mean, I had wishful thinking because I love the club. But in reality, I haven't been given nothing back, as you have either. So we deserve more. After that Villarreal game, I broke. Like, my heart broke in 1,000 pieces, and I said, no, I am not going to involve my sentiment in this club yet again, because the only thing they do is disappoint me. So from now on,
there's a lot of young people who are like this. They go support other teams because they're doing well. I'll tell you something. If first game of the season, right, we go away to Brentford and we don't put in a performance and we lose, right? And they haven't done this recruitment properly. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the atmosphere will be around the club? What do you think I will come on the podcast and say? A lot of other people that they have channels and this and that. What do you think they will all say? The pundits, the fans.
Right, so very toxic,
I don't understand how the club don't understand this, or they don't really care about. They don't give a shit about us anyway.
Shaheen, I want to address this guy as well after you, Edu, man. Yeah, go on. Sorry,
I actually hate toxicity, man. And for me, I would love to see my club winning almost every weekend. Everybody's happy because it lifts my mood as well. When I go through the week, when I'm enjoying my weekend, when we win, I'm like, yes, life is beautiful. But then we're losing in a short amount of time, we're losing so many games, and it's like you get into Twitter, you start seeing things, and then they all start bashing each other, and it's a horrible atmosphere. I would like nothing more than Arteta, than an Edu, than Vinai to prove me wrong and to show me that we're trying to get back to something, but there is no clarity at all. That's the thing.
It's crazy. I mean, Edu, just to confirm what you say, right? I'm gonna highlight this guy now, Billy Farreldy. You are negative because it's popular. It generates clicks and likes. BS, bullshit. I'm calling it out, right?
Because you know what?
That's bullshit, right? Because anyone who knows this channel and has been following this channel from the get-go knows that we've always endeavored to try and be different, level-headed. We don't do things for clicks and likes. We say what we feel, and that's the end of it. You know what? If clicks and likes, if it's negative, it's not us that's making it negative. We can only report what's happening. So please, Billy, and the rest of you guys in this chat who are calling us negative, please give me a list in this chat group here of what we have to be positive about, and I will talk about it. Go ahead. I'll give you 5 minutes.
I just want to ask Billy as well here. Billy, whatever we're saying, it's not like we're making this up. This is all facts. This is what's happening in front of us. You know, we're not making things up about Arsenal going along. You know, this is what's happening right now. And we're talking about what's happening right now. Would I rather sit here and be happy and tell you guys, oh, listen, next season we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'm excited about this player that we signed that player in. Yes, I don't want to sit here and moan and moan and moan. No, I don't want to do that. But the club is not creating this environment for me to sit down and say, oh, we're going to smash it next season. I'm worried about Brentford away next season. First game. And, you know, I'm worried that first 4 or 5 or 6 games, if Arteta doesn't get it right, are these guys going to have the bottle of pulling the trigger on him? If they do, who they're going to go and replace him? Because these are the same incompetent people who didn't get the transfer window right. They didn't get the appointment of a manager right. These are the things that I see down the line that worries me. So it's not like we're making things up, man. We all want to be positive about Arsenal. We all want to be excited about the season. We all want to be like, oh, I'm happy. I want to go somewhere, hold my head up and say, yes, you know, I'm an Arsenal fan. Yeah, I don't want to go somewhere and be like, you're an Arsenal fan. Oh, yeah, you're a club, man. You're a has-been. You're finished now. And there's not a lot you can say.
We're just as much to blame, right? And I will put myself in that bracket in the sense of I was remaining extremely positive. We split down the middle as a fan base from time. It was either the Ozil situation, the Wenger situation. It was this, it was that. Then it was channels going against each other instead for clicks and likes. If you want to talk about things for clicks and likes, Billy, for example, there were channels out there doing things for clicks and likes, because they were causing division between themselves rather than focusing on a bigger picture, which was what was going on in this club. So, like, if the club are fucking up, and excuse my language, I know it's before the watershed, but if the club are fucking up, that's not our fault. And if they want us to talk about something positive, then they need to give us something positive. Sorry, Edu.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, look, I can't stress enough how the fans have accepted that we're in a situation and we have to find excuses for everything. Like, it's not going to change your name. It's not going to change how much you love the club to call out the things that are happening and the things that are not happening. So in my point of view, like, you all know me, whoever has followed me on Twitter for a while knows that I was Mr. Positive before. And sadly, I'm not anymore, because the club in the last 3 or 4 years haven't done anything for anybody. Look, Torreira, for example, 25-30 million signing, and then out of nowhere now we can't get 5 million for him. Yeah, whose fault's that? It's not the fans.
This is us doing it, right?
Yes, exactly. And I also want to call the situation out that some people blame people for wanting a player and then they don't perform. It's not the fault that the player doesn't perform of a fan that wanted the player. In the end, it's the club who buys the player. They're fully responsible for what the player gives in the pitch. Look, for me, when Pepe started playing horrible, I was getting called so many names, like this, and that. You told me, you lied to us. It's not my fault that he's not performing, and it's not my fault that the club bought him. A fan's opinion shouldn't influence the club's running. So, look, we have to be critical. We as fans have to be united against the Krohn case, against the people that have made this team be detrimental and lack a path to success. And it's not wrong to call out the things that are not going right. Man, I can't stress that enough. I get so pissed off so many times. Like, I'm a person that never gets pissed off. But there's people that always blames the other fan for what's happening with the club. But they never call out the people who are responsible and are getting paid very handsomely for running this show.
So there's some people saying it, right? We're coming in for transfer news. So we've discussed the transfer news that's out there at the moment. I mean, you got the Ramsdale thing going on, which is a bit of a strange one. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I need to run because somebody has just come to see me. So
you never run. Where do you mean you're running?
Somebody's come to see me, so I need to leave.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's like
no. It's Fred, actually, if you must know, and he's sitting right there. So I told him that I'll be free because we need to go through some stuff.
All right. No,
but thank you, guys. I'm going to catch you later. Edu, look after yourself, man. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Now, listen. We were talking about positive things. I've waited for people to put some stuff in here. Nothing. Right now, this is a transfer show. We're discussing transfers, but we've gone through a few things, and you can't keep talking about things you don't know about. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. But the positive things I can put on here is the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe being signed up long term, right? Being shown some faith. Xhaka, some youth coming through. Your Martinellis, there's some good young talent coming
there
through.
There are things to be excited about. That's the reality of things. But like, we need more.
Yeah,
but
we
there
do
are
need
things. So I mean, I would be encouraged. I have hope that we will get this summer right for some reason. But like, that's my blind hope as a fan. Like, I mean, they've never proved me that I should be this excited, but I am, because I always, every summer, I have that little hope that at the end of the tunnel there will be a light, and where we try to get back and we fight for top 4 at least. So look, Ben White for £50 million, it could end up to be tremendous business if we add people in front of that. Because like, if you compromise other positions, we are in the wrong. So
look, one thing I will say, Edu, right, is we've got to try and keep our heads a little bit, in the sense of, we can't 1 second, and this is me like fighting myself, right? Because I do think we're paying over the odds for someone like Ben White, but then we can't turn around when we do splash 50 million on an up and coming young centre back and then go, why are we paying 50 million?
Exactly.
Like, 50 million is a lot of money, right? I guess the thing is for us is, are we spending it in the right area for the right person at 50 million? When you see Man United are touting Varane at 45 million, I know we pay a premium for Premiership players, and then obviously Ramsdale, when you got someone like Onana who was available for 7 million as a backup keeper, why would you go and spend 30 million on Ramsdale? Surely if you're spending 30 million on a goalie, he's got to be vying for a top spot. Do they think he's good enough for a top spot? No,
absolutely, man. When you're buying a 30 million goalkeeper, he has to start at least. I mean, look, Ramsdale for me is one of the most incomprehensible signings I've ever seen, I've ever linked, because he hasn't been signed. So there's the likes of Sam Johnstone, who I think is better, for £10 million. There's other goalkeepers who can be number 2 for like £5 million. Alex McCarthy from Southampton, you can get him for like, his contract ends next season. So like, how is that good planning? I'd rather spend the 30 million on a right back and spend a little bit on a backup goalkeeper, because what are the odds that Leno gets injured? Very few. Like, he got injured against Brighton because Mopey stuck into him, and then what happened. But I don't think she's not gonna tear his ACL or things like that. So I mean, there has to be some better planning. I mean, if it's actually true, because not every link is true. Maybe Ramsdale's all agent led, and we're just like running our mouths on something that's not even happening. So that's how I see it.
I think, look, if I was honest, I think the Ramsdale thing is bullshit. I don't see Arsenal spending 30 million on a number 2 goalkeeper. I see us splashing out 5-10 million for a backup, just to see us through for the rest of the for the season, and to see where we go from there if Leno's decided to go, etc. So I personally, if I was a betting man, I would not expect Arsenal to spend 30 million on a backup goalie. They would rather spend 30 million. I mean, look, we're spending like 50 million on a number 1 centre back. Why the hell are we going to spend 30 million on a backup goalkeeper? It's simply not going to happen. So I do think there's a lot of things going on that are really not fact. We are trying to look at the transfer window, but like, what other news is there at the moment? It's just basically what we've been hearing. I don't hear anything. I tell you what, though, what is going to be really interesting for me this season, this is one of the other positives for me. I think this documentary is really going to reveal what the hell is going on at our club at the moment and where it might be going wrong. I mean, it's a very brave maneuver based on the previous seasons. And I would imagine if they're going to do a documentary, I would have thought, well, that's why they got this 250 million touted around. They're trying to get players in. I mean, is it wise for us, where we are at the moment, to be getting cameras in and showing what's going on at the club?
I mean, an extra 10 million to the transfer budget, man. I mean, so
it's all about the dough. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah, let's be honest. Yes, and look, I am personally very excited for this, because I want to know what happens indoors in the backstage at Arsenal, because like, we all have so many questions, and I think this could provide us some answers. So I think it's a positive for me as a fan, because I want to see if there's banter in there, if there's bad decisions going on, and that will explain to me how I feel about the club in more depth. So
how they're actually running it and who the hell is
exactly
is dealing with all of this. I mean, I don't know why, and this could be a little bit of my positive head floating back in, but I do believe that there is some legs on this Maddison thing. I don't know why.
Absolutely.
I think there's. I wouldn't be surprised. I think we're gonna have to make some sort of statement signing where everyone goes, Arsenal are serious this season, right? Especially.
I can confirm to you. I can put my head on the line. You remember, almost 2 months ago, I told you.
Oh, careful, careful, Eddie.
I told you Maddison was the backup target to Grealish.
Yeah.
You can recall that. So I can put my head on the line that this will go down. I don't know if it's gonna go down to the wire, but it's gonna be a very, very hot topic in the next few days, because if he's the one that we want right now. I mean, everything can go to hell. Forgive me for that expression, but everything can go to hell and not happen. But he's the one that's gonna be that Arsenal are gonna try to be making a statement with.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose that after we sell xhaka and we try to find a buyer for Torreira, we will probably buy the CM to partner Thomas Partey. And then we're gonna have two key positions that we need addressing, which is the CM and the attacking midfielder. We're gonna be left with a right back and a backup goalkeeper, and that's easier business to be done.
Yeah, listen. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we end up with Jordan Henderson as the partner for Partey. The way we're going,
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't think Henderson's a bad player.
Yeah,
for the right price.
For a season. But I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy one. But look, we've got about 5-10 minutes to go, guys. If you got any questions in here, you got Edu in here, you got me in here. People are talking about being positive. Hit us with some positivity or hit us with some questions. I mean, let's have a look what Billy's saying here. Edu, I want to ask, why do you prefer Renato over the likes of Neves and Bissouma? Isn't he too injury prone?
Look, Renato Sanchez has a certain profile that I think has a high ceiling, a very, very high ceiling, and that could provide some type of dynamic to the club that we don't have right now, and we used to have. You remember when we had Cazorla, when we had the likes of Ramsey, Wilshere on the same midfield, and they were moving around, ballers, exactly. And I would love to see that again, of course. And I think Renato he needs work in this defensive positioning, but he has a lot of strengths in intercepting and blocks and what's the intangibles for being a CM. So I think he would work great with Partey. And look, Bissouma, I love. He's a player I love and I would love to have.
But it's the obvious one. We never go for the obvious one, do we?
Exactly. He needs to join us as well. So I can't tell you. I prefer Renato's profile, but I love Bissouma. That's my take on the question. In Neves, I think he's a good player, but he's a bit limited. And I don't want to see another xhaka type in the midfield that's gonna be running slow and being
side to side, sideways. Exactly. Neves reminds me of Arteta a little bit.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Profile, I don't like it, and that's only my take. That's why I rather Renato because of the profile. I would love Bissouma because he's Bissouma. He's great. He's like a Kante in some ways.
Yes.
And he's gonna be everywhere. He's gonna be stealing, intercepting, and I would love that. But it's a club that has to make the decision. If I would make these decisions, I would already have Bissouma.
Well, I like Sanchez in the Euros against France. He had the likes of Kante. He had a good midfield he was playing against, and he performed very, very well. So
exactly.
Not too sure. But Billy, thank you for your question. And by the way, Billy, that's a bit negative, wasn't it? Anyway, let's see what else there is. Any other questions for us, guys? Here we go. We've got Dupe T. He's asking you, too many thoughts.
What a wonderful footballer, man. I'm praying that Chelsea don't get him, because as an Arsenal fan, I would love to have this guy next to Partey. He's gonna be the next. He's unbelievable. You remember Patrick Vieira's days? He could dominate everything. Tchouaméni has. I'm not gonna say that he's the next Vieira, because that's a big statement. But he has all the tools to become a world class central midfielder. He can play as a DM, as a CM. He can cover a lot of ground. He is special. And I would love to have him. But it's Arsenal again. I would love to be Edu Gaspar and making the decisions, but I'm not. So
all right, there we go. What can we do, man? If we were making decisions, we'll probably be messing it up ourselves. But anyway, why not sentiment? How you doing, bro, man? I've been seeing you've been saying lovely things, and yes, he's right. Smash those likes, hit those notes. Put your notifications on. Come on, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Stop freeloading. Do this, yeah. As you've seen, we don't mess around. We try and get as much information for you as possible. Lev, he says, 2 backup and questionable starter possibly. Is that being busy or just busy work to keep up appearances? Great show, this show. Right, okay, bro. Man, thank you, man. I'm not entirely sure exactly what you're saying. So if you want, just hit me back up and I'll come back to you. I don't care what United need. Bruno Guimaraes.
Bruno. I was very vocal from this guy. Like, I see a year and a half ago, and we seemed to be linked to him during that time, but he went to Lyon. I mean, he would have been ideal to replace Xhaka right now. He's that type of player. He's the one that can control, he can distribute, and he has that physical ability that Xhaka lacks sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, I think now Lyon wouldn't like to sell him because he's important to them. And the only midfielder that they'll probably say, yes, go ahead and buy him is Awar. But yeah, that's the situation right now.
There's another question. S334. I'm trying to get through as many as we can before we go. I love our youngsters, but why aren't we selling the likes of Willock? And why are people talking like ESR is a proven number 10? He should be a guaranteed starter, in my opinion. Personally, I'm a great fan of ESR. I've been waiting for him. I've been watching him in the reserves and in youths for a long, long time. I think he's quality. But I guess you're right in that sense. It's a lot to put on a young lad's shoulders. Shouldn't we have somebody else there that's proven? That's a good point. And why not sell Willock? Is it the fact that the Newcastle sort of loan period has saved him?
I absolutely agree with that. I think ESR, as great as he is, he's a wonderful footballer. He's got the sky is the limit for him. I don't think Arsenal would be wise to put all the pressure on him from this season on, because giving him the 10 and also not buying a proper number 10 will like create insane expectations for him. And sometimes expectations can shatter a player's confidence and things like that. In terms of Willock, I think we have to make bank somehow. The academy is, sadly, not everybody's gonna make it. And then you see, when you have a youth product and you can sell them for £20 million, for me, that's a success. Absolutely. That's what the academy is for. You got a great talent in ESR and Saka, but like Willock, the likes of Nelson, Ainsley, they're not going to make it.
And Nketiah's got to go. Surely Nketiah's got to go.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. He's got a year left on his contract as well, man.
Yeah,
Why lose him on a free when you can get 12-15 million pounds?
Here, this is another one for you, Edu. We'll flash through this as quick. Rick Rank, forget Maddison. Better use of money to bring in Sabitzer. Sabitzer is very dynamic and can play anywhere in the midfield, and he's excited to watch, unlike the majority of our players.
I think this is a matter of how you think Arsenal will move forward. I think Arsenal is still going to try to play 4-2-3-1 with a number 10, and that would probably make Sabitzer and Awar not fit perfectly in that position. So, look, if they want Maddison, I can't complain because in my eyes, he's a top player.
He is. He's a top player.
Look, as long as they address the positions we're in need, I don't mind how much you spend on the player. That's my take.
All right, this name's come up a few times. Coop Menier.
Seon Coop Miners from...
No, Coop Miner. I'll stick with your pronunciation.
Coop Miner. So, yes, he's an Arsenal fan. Arsenal have him in the list, but like he's not up there. He's a leader. He's a good player, but he's not be cheap as well. But I think you can do better, in my opinion. You can do better because he's only been good in the Eredivisie, which has a level that's not relatively close to the Premier League. So it's gonna be a risk, and I don't think we can afford risks right now.
And people, I've had this question going all the way through. What is the likelihood, in your opinion, that the Maddison deal would go through before the start of the season?
Before the start of the season, that's tough. I would say 6. If you ask me before the end of the summer, I think
before the end of the window. 8-9, really? So you've heard it here, right? So Edu's doing this thing that he loves to do, and he leaves himself open. But I love it. He's basically saying it's 8 or 9 in his opinion, and these are just opinions, by the way. I mean, he does his research, but please don't sit there thinking he's quoting as gospel. He can only do what other journos do. he's not professing to know everything. He just does a bit more research than we do. You know, that's what he's doing. As a career. So that's why we love having Edu on here. But look, I mean, 8 or 9. I hope we get Maddison. I really, really do. We do need a player like that. I think maybe the price has been affected. His price has been affected the fact that he was injured last season. Maybe exactly. I'm just hoping there's no injury issue there.
Look, he's still 24 as well. He has room to grow. In 18-19, he was unbelievable. So I would be very, very excited. But I'm telling you, as much excited as I could be for that signing, I think we have to complement with a good CM in behind him. And a good right back to overlap and to create some danger to the right side, because the right side has been non-existent in the last 2 seasons.
So Hwasimoa, this is the last one I think we're going to cover. Hwasimoa, right? And maybe Camavinga, but Hwasimoa, he had a bad season last season. He wasn't the best. I mean, his price dropped. Yeah. Could be a good thing for us, right? Because I've seen him start pre-season already, and I saw him smacking this ridiculous volley from yeah. It was an unreal volley. So what are the chances of Hwasimoa? I'm guessing he's going to be one of the more likely ones, because we've been chasing him down since last season.
It depends, you know. I've been very vocal about this, and it's not our first choice. So if we don't get Maddison, and I think it could be a real possibility. But if Maddison happens, there's absolutely no chance that our comes, in my opinion.
Okay, and then someone just keeps typing out Julian Draxler. Have we not heard that name enough for the last 5 years or 6 years?
And Villa, Benzema. Oh.
Yeah. Benzema's in there. Yeah. And Villa's in there. They're all in there. Capu, he's in there as well. No, come on now. It's like that. I think that ship sailed Draxler. I mean,
he renewed with PSG as well. So.
Oh, there you go. So look, guys, I mean, it's been informative. I mean, I know we try to stick to just transfer news, but like, come on, we're fans. It's just like you guys. So we do get a samba. We do get a little bit heated about it. We do care about our club. So we want nothing but the best. But right now, it's still all up in the air. We don't want to start the season. We start every season the way we start it. So look, that's the only reason. But we want the best for our club. We're not one of those channels that is just here for clickbaits, for negativity. We're genuinely asking questions that you would ask your mates at home. It's as simple as that. Yeah, like I couldn't care less about clicks and likes for negativity. I'd rather be on here talking about how great we are, and we won the seasons back to back, and we're in the Champions League and all of that. And I'd rather be talking about that. So anyone who's here talking about us doing clickbaits and all that, it's a load of crap. It's so simple. That's it. That's all I have to say. Edu, do you want to finish off with anything before I let you go?
Well, sure. I mean, people, let's remain positive, I suppose, and to an extent, of course. It's always right to ask questions. It's always right to be critical about your team, because you want the best for your team. It's like having a kid. When you have a kid, you want the best for your kid. You don't want him to get into bad manners and bad
Sometimes
ways.
You go tough love as well, don't you?
Exactly, absolutely. Criticizing is a part of loving the club, because you want them to do better. And you have to have high expectations of Arsenal, because we're not a mid-table club. In history, we're one of the top 10 clubs in the world.
Yeah, so and the top 3 in Britain as well. In England, we are the 3rd biggest club. Globally, right? Let's not take that away. And we're not acting like the 3rd biggest club globally right now. That's the only reason.
We can't lose our traditions.
And Billy, much love, by the way.
Much love to everybody that was here and regularly ask questions, because we appreciate you. And you're part of a family. We are all part of the Arsenal family as well.
We don't mind you guys speaking your mind. Yeah, if you think we're being negative, drop it out there, and we're having a discussion. We're not going to hold it against you for having an opinion. All right, so Billy, you don't need to apologize. No one in here needs to apologize. But if we're going to have a debate like you would do in a pub, I'm not going to sit there with my pint and just shake my head or nod my head. I'm going to tell you what I think, and that's the only reason we do this show. Yeah, we don't. COVID here. We're all stuck indoors. We're not at a pub talking about this, so we're doing it here. You're welcome to come up with your opinions at any time. Even if you don't agree with us, it's welcome. Yeah, and we're all Arsenal family. No division here on this channel. So, man, it's been, again, a massive support. This channel's growing really, really fast. Shaheen has done amazing keeping this going while I've been away. Can't wait for the new season, some new shows. We're looking at potentially doing a show with opposing fans so we can all have a bit of fun with it. So if anyone out there is an opposing fan who's got a channel and wants to be on, let us know. And, you know, any other ideas you want us to hit up, just drop us a message. Follow, like, subscribe, hit your notifications. And that's it, man. I'm just happy to be back. Sorry I've had to moan, but, like, you know, it's been nice, bit of therapy for me. And Edu, man, it's been a pleasure as always.
Absolutely.
I'm still jealous about that hair, man. You ran here and it's still like, look at it, man. So listen, if there's any hair product sponsors out there, Edu is waiting in the wings. Yeah, Edu Hagn hair products. Right, guys, this is it. We're out of here. I'm Lavanja. This has been the Arsenal Lounge. Peace out to all you guys.